I also think a lot of people live photocopy lives, like they want to live the same life their father lived or their mother lived. And that's a lot of pressure. We're all different. We all have our own mission. So if you're chasing the dreams of your father or your mother, it's hard to be satisfied. But if you chase your own dreams, you can't compare it to anybody else. So what have been your biggest challenges in your business?
Let's see, just getting the word out, I think. And to be honest with you, I think the challenging part is just starting. It was really just getting it going and getting over my own personal hangups. You know, are people going to like their design? Are people going to understand it? Are people going to purchase it? And when I just stopped, when my business partner, she was going through the exact same thing. She was like, how's this going to look? Like, we're just jumping into something that we've never done before. It's not just creatives. It's also this e-commerce business. You know, we both hadn't sold anything of our own. And just getting over that. And once I did, it just started to flow. And once I started to trust the rhythm and go with my guidance system, allow things to just, the universe to just talk to me and go with it, everything just started to open up. And, you know, I'm doing this because out of passion. It's not about likes and followers. And I don't care if one person buys a shirt. That's all that matters to me.
I totally agree.
You
And I
know?
think that's the hard thing about being in social media land, is because obviously the algorithm depends on people liking.
Mm-hmm.
I just want people to listen to stories, you know, and
Right.
just benefit from other people's experiences. I don't know how you created your organization in terms of interaction, but on my end, I want people to talk without me. Like, I don't see this as my platform. It's actually the space for people to share their stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to hand it over one day to somebody else to manage behind the scenes. But how will you continue your narrative of Not Your Enemy?
It will just continue to grow. I think being consistent with it is what's important. And taking Not Your Enemy and also melding it with my own other, because Tim K is just an entity that's going to house so much stuff, and making sure that this partnership still speaks with each other, speaks Not Your Enemy and Tim K. They're always going to be synced in some kind of way, and making sure that that is shown. I personally think just keeping consistent, listening to the public, listening to what's happening around me, and it's really just focusing on the work is what's really important. And like I said, just making sure I'm always being as creative as possible. When I do get those inklings of things to do or not do, follow that. That's the only way that I can keep this thing going as much as possible.
Over here in the Netherlands, it's Black Excellence Month. So there's going to be a lot of content, a lot of stuff going on online, but also in reality at theaters, cinemas. It's a very exciting period. What is the month for Black people over where you live?
Well, you know, now I feel like every day is going to be Black History Month, and I feel like that's how it should be everywhere across the land. I wake up every day and I'm Black, so therefore every day to me is a historic occasion. Every day that I get up at this doing this interview right now is Black excellence for me. So I've never.
But in terms of the calendar
It
in
would be
America,
February. It would
February.
be
It's
Black History Month.
the same in the UK.
Yeah,
Also, the shortest month, ironically, as well.
right. Well, we recently with Juneteenth, that became a big day for us. Not recently, until this year, that was when people start, of course, with all of everything happening.
Yeah.
Juneteenth this year became a thing. And now, like, people are getting off from schools and off from work, you know, and of course, unfortunately, that took for some crisis for that to occur. But February is our like Black History Month, and unfortunately, it is the shortest month. And we also
So,
have Black Music Month, which is in June.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Hmm. Well, I love music. Music is one of my inspirations. So
Yeah.
anytime anything going on with music, I'm like, I'm there.
Have you got some questions for me?
Yeah, I have one. I have like a fun question for you.
Okay.
Um, well, I do have. What do you define as, before I get to the fun question, what do you
Yeah.
define as a visionary?
Oh, I like that question. Somebody with big, grand ideas,
Mm-hmm.
but also understands the small details and the importance of that. Um, and also has a very realistic side, because a lot of people have a lot of dreams, but you can kind of wander around in that space. But if you have those dreams of where you can take an idea, where you are actually implementing them, I think that's a true visionary. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Other question. If your creative life was edible, what would it taste like?
Wow, that is so crazy. Edible lifestyle? What did you say?
Like if your creative world, if
Yeah.
Shattered Hues and CK had to have a taste to it, what would it taste like?
Okay, I can say it would be croissant and Indian tea in the morning. It would
Ooh.
be Thai food with a glass of wine for lunch. And it would be something completely spontaneous for dinner.
Oh, now what about dessert?
Wow. Italian.
Perfect.
Sorry, they win every time. Yeah. Yeah. That's how. And how about you? Now I'm curious. What would
Oh
yours
God. So I'll go the music cool route. I think
be? Okay.
my creative would be a little mix of R&B, hip hop, and jazz,
Ooh,
all rolled up into one. And then
ooh.
I'll throw some pop in there because I'm so multifaceted. And I'll throw a little house music in there, and I'll shake it up, and then we'll just have one big old party, and it'll just be one big old swell event. Because that's how I view my creative. I view it as just fun and energetic and just still having a message because there's so much message in the music. So like I would go the musical route.
Nice, nice. So, have you got any other question for me? Otherwise, I have to look for mine.
Um, no, I don't. Well, I do have one. Like, what do you do to keep yourself motivated? Because I think a lot of times, like some of the question that you had asked me, like a lot of times we get stuck and as creatives, and sometimes we, because I know prior to doing Not Your Enemy, I kind of hit a wall and didn't know
Yeah.
where to take it, and didn't know where to take Tim K, didn't know where to take myself, and then something came about that, you know, motivated me to do something. But unfortunately, if that didn't happen, I may not have had that motivation. So, what keeps you motivated?
Well, I think interacting with very diverse groups of people, because I'm very curious. So I'm so curious it gets me into trouble, because some people don't like you asking questions, and I ask until I really am clear.
As you should.
um, so keeping an international vibe around me is really important. Travel, that keeps me motivated, being in different spaces, different cultures, and keeping multiple ideas rolling at different stages. Like maybe a script is at one stage, maybe a poem is at another stage, maybe my film is. So I always feel like I'm busy. Basically, there's always something to be cracking on with, or something in post, or something, being created. And going with the flow, like going with my own intuition. I think it took me maybe 5 years of a lot of work, from drawing, painting, to really find my intuition. So I'm much clearer with how I feel about things and what I really want. I think it's much easier to get what you want if you're able to say it. And a lot of people are not able to say it.
Mm-hmm.
I think in our community, specifically Black community, there's a lot of issues around emotion, sharing emotions. So people struggle with being clear about what they want, and knowing it yourself inside. And I also think a lot of people live photocopy lives, like they want to live the same life their father lived or their mother lived, and that's a lot of pressure. We're all different. We all have our own mission. So if you're chasing the dreams of your father or your mother, it's hard to be satisfied. But if you chase your own dreams, you can't compare it to anybody else. You're entitled to it, and you create it yourself. And I think that's what I've enjoyed in the last 5, 6 years of my life, is being very fine where I am and not needing to have a photocopy of anybody else's life.
That's beautiful. That's perfect.
Cheers.
Huh?
Cheers. Just wandering off.
No, but that's I think that we're very similar in that regard. I've stopped looking left and right too much anymore. I'm just focused on what I have going on because this is what I do. This is what I'm doing, and I'm proud of myself because and that took me a long time to be proud of myself because I'm doing whatever I can do at the highest of my ability at this point. Next time we do this again, I'll be at another level, and the next time we do this, I'll be at another level. And as long as I keep leveling up, there's nothing. I'm always satisfied at this particular point when it comes to my work because I know that I'm doing the best that I can do. I've never put my name on anything that wasn't that. So as long I've just been moving in that same vein as you of just like not having to photocopy life and focusing on the life that I'm those dreams that I've created and making them into a reality as much as I possibly can.
Please like and subscribe. Shattered Hues Films.